Greetings and the best of salutations. Just want to deal with a topic of discussion that deals with pain. Abbreviated life expectancy. Pain is defined as physical suffering. We know that Eastern religion philosophy talks about suffering is just a part of life. Uh, some discomfort caused by an illness or a injury. I realize in the society in which we live that people are only responding due to the extent of the injury and the damage that has been done to his or her humanity. Yes. In some Christian setting teachings talks about suffering, one's willful rejection against one called the will of what people call God, and then there is suffering that takes you through a purification process. Purify the soul, the mind, one's thinking, one's attitude, one's behavior, one's deeds, one's actions. Pain, careful effort, great care, or trouble caused by mental or physical pain, hurt. There's a term called a sadist who takes pleasure, his sexual pleasure, in hurting and harming anyone. But where there is pleasure, there must be responsibility. One's become mentally unstable. He becomes sexually aggressive. I believe it was Dr. Francis Cress Wilson that talked about the term "son of a gun," and she made reference to the gun and how it looks like and shapes like the man's genitalias, penis, as one will call it, and how you pull the trigger and sperm comes out, and you pull the trigger of a gun, the bullet comes out, and in that pulling of the trigger, if in the human body the sperm mixed with ovum produces a evolve into a human being, comes out of the mama's womb aware. And not to mention the process that it goes through, all those sperm cells in one make it. And some say that they fight, and some say no, they're not at odds, they're working together. Then the one that makes it becomes a halo around his head, or maybe the sun disk, the light becomes the Christ, and Christ is a state of development through the process of spiritual consciousness. This development, this pain, this injury to humanity that leads to a life expectancy from a gunshot, a, a bullet, as they call it. So small with gunpowder, so explosive, so small. It takes one's life away prematurely. Listening to a sister who lost her son, and the son is publicly known in this field of entertainment, because people are entertained by knowledge what they cannot grasp. Because I realize that perception is not reality, but is on its way to reality. So perception sooner or later becomes a reality. Yes. So what I'm saying in this wise and rules of engagement is that number 7, don't take anything personal. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their reality. What you, when you are mature and sincere within yourself as it pertains to others' opinions and actions, you won't become the victim of needless suffering. When African Americans realized the American dream was not for them, the American promise was not made to them collectively. Some believe the best way to achieve the dream was through assimilation, therefore or thereby accepting the philosophical, ideological monolithic of a social structure that didn't benefit African Americans as a whole. The key to social life is family and the joy that it brings and the participation in that activity. What I have found out is that those that do not have that joy will find joy in misery, pain, the life or the loss of a life taken prematurely by what people call violence. Violence is the result of an unresolved status. If you don't know who you are, you're more prone and more susceptible to participate in act of violence. The injury, the hurt that has been caused, that one has done to one's thinking, one's attitude, one's perception of life. If this is accepted as the norm, make it seem good. This is not accepted, man. This is not acceptable. To intentionally, with one distorted viewpoint, warp identity about him or herself, about saying this is the humanity that I'm going to give to the world at the expense of making someone else go through hell, when you yourself are in hell, when you in hell and you yourself won't confront and deal with your own reality and with your own attitude and demeanor and all these terms that are very degrading, disrespectful, and the image that is being projected through media, press, and television, politics, economics, religion, race, class, what have you, to put humans at odds with one another. That's some sick stuff, man. And this have accepted as the norm. Say it's been done against time. These are things that has happened amongst humanity, or happening amongst humanity right here and now. Envy, hatred, jealousy, animosity. But this life of this particular individual, who was known in this entertainment field, his mother warned him, didn't feel I did not say she wanted, but she feel that he went to a location, an area, a geographical area worn over turf, territorial, which is very animalistic because the only open enemy is that when humans are unable to control his or her instinct. You know, west side, north side, south side, east side. What is that? Gave up your universal identity for geographical identity. I'm from Africa. I'm from Europe. I'm from this. I come from my mother's womb, and so do you. So we must reverence that which gave birth to us. And we all have humble beginnings. Making a mockery of this time, this life in which we're supposed to be living on this plane of earth, of existence. And we say that we are sane. But she said she went to the hotel and just wanted to hear his voice, but she did silence. She heard silence. She heard the tightness of her chest, the pain in her belly, and the weakness in her heart. That she had to experience this, the death, the abbreviated life expectancy of the child in which she gave birth to. Someone took his life. So when we think about the uses of drugs, alcohol, and the devices that we have, even devices, media, press, television, whatever, the misuse of it to create mischief. Our education that we use it to create mischief. Our senses that we have, we misuse it to create mischief. Our thinking, our thoughts, our hands, the use of our limbs and all that we have is used to create mischief. Take someone's life prematurely and to misguide and mislead people into thinking that this is the norm and this is the way. No one will forget what took place to those who stood up and advocated for that which they know to be right and know to be just. And their life was taken away. Misguided extremism, very extreme. And now it's called bipolar. Not to mention, you look at the politics and the language, and they got animals on here. It is the animal spirit. It's the animal nature that has not yet been controlled. Take a man's life premature to take away through violence. Father, a son, a husband, a brother, sister, an uncle, a niece, a nephew. Because you are unable to control your instincts, and then the wickedness of a system or a thinking that will fuel you and feed you. feed your animal instincts, and you go out like a hunter to hunt a human being down. Where's your humanity? Where's your conscience? What's happening to society in the world? That we vacillate up and down. That even when we go interact with certain people, we will have greater respect for those people because they probably can exact some force on you that you're unable to exact on them. Then when you come amongst other people and you act totally different, you act strange, and then you want to take them out, but you won't take the one out, or you won't come at them in a way that will cause hurt, harm, and endanger to them. And I'm not saying taking anyone out. I'm just trying to say the hypocritical nature, the distortion, the insanity, the sick mindset, doing things that is convenient for you. Show some restraint. Strengthen your resolve. You must realize that there are consequences to one's actions. Yes, I'm just really a little bothered by the misuse of one's faculties and one's use of one's limbs, and those who may not even have them. The use of our tongue, our language, the use of the devices that we have, the misuse. The misuse of our ears, our eyes, and I said faculties, I said limbs. I mean, just the misuse of making a mockery of time, because one's true purpose in its purest form is to reach one's full potential, and that is to make a transition from sympathy to empathy and not become apathetic. We must go beyond race. We must go beyond class. We must go beyond gender, economics, politics, education, and religion. Well, let us not go back to what is called the primitive stage. You know, someone says that war just merely signs that humans have symptoms that they are unable to control their animal instinct, and there are even animals who act in a manner and way that look out for their own species. Yes, free man, free the dome, man, free the dome. Not be dumb, not be dealing with freedom, but free the dome, man. May we develop our intellect in the best of ways for the betterment of humanity. I say this in closing, that we must continue to do our best to become citizens, global citizens, fully human, And we would know if we're fully human is how we treat one another, how we treat our family, how we treat this universe, this environment, this globe, the use of our faculties, our limbs, our tongue, our language. Time is short, man. Time is short. As a matter of fact, it just probably stands still. We may think that time is going on, but hey, man, try to chronologize it all day long. It's more to you and it's more to me than this physical presence. We are a being of energy, and we're transmitting, looking for a transmitter or a body to as a vehicle. The soul does. The soul does. And it speaks. It speaks to us and it speaks through us. May we become one. Until next time, talk to you.